soil people who actually can't be reasoned with. There's unbelievers who can be reasoned with better. Now, see how scrambled this will get? The fourth soil has their production interfered with. God's trying to get the love, joy, peace, patience, faithfulness, humility, self-restraint in you developed, of which there is no law. You don't need a rule book for these people. Yeah, they listen to reason. They come alongside and help. They never give you a bully beatdown. They don't declare you as enemies. They don't function in hate and vituperation and vilification and vindictive vengeance. They don't. But the rest of the world does. What about the ones who call themselves a Christian? Okay, that contradiction, not just a sinning Christian, a Christian who's now engaged in worldly, mindless, rule-oriented, beat you down with the law and the rule book. This is why the graciousness of the evangelical system, and I'll give it to them, throws out the law. Because the law creates a bunch of law-bearing, book-bearing, HOA, religious, mosaic, fill-in-the-blank expletives who will crucify you in the parking lot. Say, Will, I've seen the fangs come out in friends who are Christians. Is anybody getting this? Either you see it or you don't. The whole objective of the Christian life is that Galatians 5 stuff. You don't need the rule book anymore. Does that mean it gets thrown away and burned? No. Does that mean we never actually get to it? No. It means you've been trained, you've been exposed, and you grew up understanding God's positions. They're codified into law. But you don't need to bring the law book or the rule book or the HOA book around because, well, I'm just trying to do, and here's a good expression, one maybe in New York. You do the right thing. You do the right thing. Leave me alone. Stop bullying me. My car's not working. I need to fix it. I don't have your bank account to go buy a new one. And even if I did, I don't want to part with the cash. I like the car. It's functional. It just needs a new gas cap. Nope. I don't want you here, Mr. Mechanic, even though the ingenuity and the ability and the fascinating understanding that you have of a car to fix the problem is one of the more noble characteristics. Now, there's a lady out there doing it. Nope, we're going to beat her up. And they did more than once. She told me about it. And now the guy next to me was doing it. And nobody came up to him. They've sort of relaxed their bully beatdowns. Was it because of me? Maybe because they don't come after me anymore. Because I resisted them. I resisted them. I didn't say get the fuck away from me, but the whole thing about me being here and the structures I'm in, maybe it's for that, and maybe it's for me to see it, and maybe it's for no one else because the lady doesn't care and this guy doesn't even speak English. And now I'm telling you what's really going on, and you're going through it. And so how's Vito? If Vito didn't like Linda, he wouldn't like you. You'd be on the ass end of it. That's what I think. Yeah, that's weirdness. Yeah. Because she's pretty. That these people, that's the way it's so stupid now. It's come on, and I'm gonna use an expletive. It's fucking laughable now that now the F-bomb is used as an adjective. It's totally appropriate. Come on. The people don't know how to use. All right. So this guy who lectured, I'm going to go topside. I'm not kicking and screaming about it. I understand it's aggressive language. It's strong language. Anyway, but their use of the condemnation behind what they think is righteousness is strong. They don't even understand it. Okay, leave me alone. Then that's what happened. You leave me alone. If you don't belong here, go find a farm. Yeah, it is. Didn't you grow up? I mean, when she was younger, she was probably stunning. So you grew up with that. That's just a stupidity of a stupid man. Is Linda? Linda's got a gleam in her eye. She got. Are we on recording? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever she is, as in the older version, these guys operate that way. I remember reading studies years ago about how pretty men and pretty women get ahead, and they do because people, especially women, and especially now more so, because back then you weren't allowed to show cleavage. Now, oh my, it's retarded. And the girls know it. They know as soon as they grow mammary glands, they're used as weapons. They truly are. I actually think they're targeted. I'm going to go and say it. Pretty women with big mammary glands wind up being targeted by the unseen realm and then used in evil. You want to know what the evil is? It's in a form of manipulation, which is witchcraft. They manipulate men on the spot in a second, and they know it. And there's really nothing they can do about it. I know someone she came down here. She was my neighbor. She's married. She was very friendly. Should have been the mayor. She had huge front part of her body, right? Who cares? Oh. Anyway, when they came down, whatever, it was right before Christmas. She had almost down to a B. She was probably double E, F, whatever they do. She was down to almost nothing. I didn't say anything, but they both said, well, she had surgery. I go, what, a reduction? Yeah. How do you feel? I still feel sore. Okay, great. I never said another word. But I walked away, and even now I'm saying, WTF? You would go under the knife and cut those things in half at almost 60 years old? Like, what's going on in your thinking? What was the guy thinking? Why? I know a guy who he had almost all his girlfriends. He had 3 wives. He got all of them to get breast augments. He just wanted big tits on a girl, on his own wife, who I later found out would share his wife. Yeah, it is unbelievable. But all it is really, really distorted, lustful thinking. And if you have, if that's what you are, if that's what women are, and that's what men are doing, and you're just absolutely tired of it, and you really can't even cover them up, right? You're gonna go under the knife for that? That's how crazy this culture is now. It probably always was. So what am I saying? What is the craziness? It's called demonism. And the lusts of demons, the unseen viciousness of the fill in the blank, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. There's a spirit of fornication in the land. Men are just lustful fornicators, and the primary whatever attraction is a big chested woman, just like hate. Guess what hate uses? Racism. Racism can't work unless there's hate. As soon as there's hate in somebody, I'm going to target a people group. The color of a person's skin is a primary target. That's all it does. I remember saying it in the 80s. I was walking a foot post in a black neighborhood, talking to an old timer. I was then the way I am now. We talked about racism, which was probably worse in the 80s. I said, it's stupid. Stop it. I even knew back then. You need hate for that to work. You know how I know that? He's looking at me. I said, look at my skin. I put my arm next to his. I'm dark brown in the summer from a tan. That means everybody'd start hating me. In the summertime, I guess in the winter, they'd start not hating me. Think about that. They don't hate you for your skin color. They have hate. That's it. Versus everything I'm talking about, they don't have love. You could say to somebody, yeah, they have a lot of love in them. And now you got two new whiteboards. One's black, one's white. Watch how quickly you can fill up the blackboard. See the traits and the characteristics all coming out of Scripture. I mean, 1 Corinthians 6, Galatians 5, Romans 1, Ephesians, all over the place. Timothy 3. All those characteristics are on the blackboard. Guess what the overriding operating spirit is? Hate, or not God, who is love. The other board, a whiteboard, is God, who is love. I did this in 2003. I literally had a blackboard and a whiteboard to make this point. And it works for me. I think it works for a couple other people. They never talk about it, and therefore they don't really operate with it. But when you fill up the blackboard with all those traits and characteristics, and you put the overarching spirit influence, which is hate, and then the whiteboard, which is the solution, the overarching spiritual influence characteristic is love. One board is Yahweh and his people who have love because they have him. The other board, well, it's the world. And I started filling up what was called, what I termed the cosmic system, the cosmos. And everybody on this board operating with all those traits will be disinherited. That's what it says in Scripture. Now, that you should see what the dispensationalists did with that and that statement. Maybe that's why they don't talk about it. Maybe they didn't receive it that way. In fact, none of us just said that. That's probably why. They think that that all applies to back then and or unbelievers. Once you're a believer, you're on the whiteboard. And all those passages, Paul's referencing unbelievers. Really? So years later, how many years? 15 years, not even. Actually, yeah, almost 10, let's say 10 years later, I realized this certain distinctions about what people were taught with those terms, believer, unbeliever. And it should be translated faithful or unfaithful. And once you see that, you can see that all the spirits in the world, human, belong to God, and they're unfaithful. Not unbelievers. They're unfaithful to him. The people on the whiteboard are faithful in at least one command. Receive my son as Savior King. They did. And where'd they go with that? I dare say nowhere. They got brought into a theology, into a camp. And it took me, actually, you got to wonder about my life, because now I can discuss it and go ahead and get beat up in a Catholic church or a Christian evangelical church or a Pentecostal church. Literally. The only church that wouldn't really beat me up is a Reformed. Serious. It's that crazy. Those four ism camps I just mentioned are at enmity with each other, and they won't admit it. Well, maybe the Catholics would, because they'll put you on a freaking board in the parking lot. They don't like born again Christians, and the ones that the simple Catholic types that aren't really that hardcore could care less, sort of. It's like the Muslims, the not so hardcore ones, the liberal Jewish people. They don't really care, but they would stand by and watch the ones who really do care, meaning their leaders, destroy you. and not stand up for you. Just like they did with the Christ. How many people stood by and watched that happen? Well, there's nothing we could do. Actually, you know who tried to do something? Peter. But I'll tell you, back to what this was going on in this YouTube and whatever this guy was doing. He was basically running Peter down. I've heard other people run him down. Paul's the greatest thing. Peter, well, he was a this. Timothy was a pansy. You should see what people do with it. It's a terrible assessment. These are pastors, exegetes, guys who think they know scripture. How do you run Peter down like that? Oh, he was impulsive. Really? And tell me what that means, Mr. Stoic. He was quick to defend somebody? Should we go there? Oh my goodness. Because I'm not, it's not like I'm out there every day in church circles, but I've been around it. And God's given me a discernment. Yeah. Don't they have discernment? No. And does discernment line up with the Dokimazo process that can assess something or someone differently in another certain circumstances or situations? That's the dynamic of the word is eistasis, the capacity for discernment. Paul's praying for it. Jesus praying for it. That's a major thing. I connect that with the cup. The capacity to understand these things and assess it. God is in you. God is with you. It is God's business how your mind and spirit can take that in and function and operate. And guess what the overarching dynamic / power mechanic is? Love. You have to use these words. When I say loaded, that means there's so much definition to them. Glory. It's actually a proper noun. His glory. He is glory. He is love. I have to find the verse that says he is glory. It's buried in the English. You know that? Should I say it that way? It's twisted in the English, buried in the Greek. Yeah. It's terrible. They're not. Self-assessment. Yeah. They're totally not. They don't say. Yeah. Because you look at the guy. Yeah, it's a strange thing. Now, here's the strange, and I'm going to open it for discussion, whether we want to or not. Should you use that understanding and let him have his secret crush lust? And in that, you have some sort of a non-adversary. Do you see the subtleties and the motivation of a guy like that to do a friendly gesture? Because secretly he's got 2 layers down, some sort of a crush lust. Yeah, that goes on. Does it? See, this is the secret, or this is the deep secret sins and motivations of the heart. And God is telling you in more than one place that he's the one who understands those little subtle motivations. And let them have it. There's nothing you're going to do much about it. But you, Mr. Christian, my son, we're going to do something about that. Your motivations from the heart are going to be pure, sincere, and full of love, and not going to have any. What's wrong with with what we're talking about, a crush lust? It's because there's sexual sins behind it. You're not going to have that. You can have the very same desires for someone because you love them. Their spirit, their soul, their everything that you look at, and they're supposed to operate in and with. Yeah, that's the truth of it. Now, there's plenty of people like that. You could say maybe women more so. I don't even know. Women don't even know that themselves. Well, I don't know how they view men, and and even if they have a crush. But it's yep. No, I'm talking about the what we're talking about, the sexual sinful side of the crush list. And what are women when they when they solicit the drool from a dog? See, that's what I'm getting at. The women, yeah, but well, I've had women around here. One, they're coming over here 4 booty calls. Okay, now tell me the difference. So the whole thing's a mess, right? Where's the genuineness in this entire? And then, yep, that's right. It's the secrets, it's the motivations of their heart that's in play. So when someone comes over here like that, now you're looking, but even still, what is the desire? Let's just say it's a sexual desire. But there's a big difference with what men want and what women want when they bed down. And so what happens? So, yep, I've heard that. The prettier they are, the more. That's a Jezebel. Yeah, you would never see the fangs unless you understood the depths of that statement. But and uh, she's not entirely wrong. That's how weak men are. That's an Ahab character spirit. Yeah, you can. How does she? What? Oh wow. Ugh. How did he met her? I guess he did to say that. Oh, okay. Oh, he asked me the other time. I won't get into it. Yeah, so that see, these are weak. That's a weak. They're weak. Like, we all have weaknesses. We all have areas of strength and areas of weakness. Most every person male or female, has been in this apartment, and you would have to tell me because you were. There's a Bible sitting right in front of the chair that most of them will be sitting on. No comment. I'll make reference to it. I'll say something about God. I'll point to the book, and then I'll start getting a little loud about how you think you're listening. Look, you can, and I get to the point where I almost throw them out. There's the Bible, this Yahweh right above the door. You don't want to know, that's fine. But I'm doing the best I can now to dissuade them from even saying hello to me, which is actually, that's been accomplished. No one says hello to me. Fine. Actually, I'd rather be left alone than to be poked one way or the other through the HOA rule book or through some sort of I want to be your friend, whatever. I don't. They're lost as can be. They're in the world. Fine. Be at peace with them. I am. I'll help them. Maybe they'll help me if I ask. That kind of thing. And that's how you live life, which to me is a very superficial. To the book, to me, and to God I speak of. Yeah. I even asked myself, though we're on recording, I'll be honest, would I throw them out if they were, 25 years younger? Because each of them, I've been in their homes to do work. That's how I kind of know them. They all have pictures of when they were young. I guess we do as well, right? When you were, in your early 20s. Everybody had we were all pretty, especially looking back. Like when you were in your 20s, maybe you thought or not thought you were pretty, but either way, looking back, you were pretty, young and pretty. Okay. Well, they still look at themselves as young and pretty, and so do the men. That's kind of how it is. It's even biblical. Yep. Yep. She still thinks that. See, there's a verse that talks about. There's a couple of them. One specifically in Malachi where it talks about the wife of your youth, and I guess you don't really get it until you're older. How you at 65 years old, you still see your wife if you're still married to her when you were 23. You still see her that way. You still see the beauty and the youth, and that the body is aging, the spirit doesn't age, and the soul is now filled up with treasures that make her beautiful. So at 65, 75 years old, a man can still look at his wife with that look in his eyes. He's talking about that. That's a definite biblical, that's how love can last. How about that? And in Malachi, he's condemning that because these men were, I can't use an expletive, but they were fucking around on their women, actually throwing them away and all the rest of it. I didn't need to use such harsh language. What's corrupt language when Yahweh's saying, I think it's in Jeremiah. Oh my goodness, should I say it? He's basically saying that his people are like whores and they're in the streets spreading their legs and people are walking by because they don't even see value in it. And that's how disgusting it is to God. Now, I'm going to use disgusting language and a disgusting illustration. Oh, how could you? Oh, the horrors how offended to my pious ears. And you know what God's going to say eventually as he brings an army that will kill your men, skin them alive, let the women and children watch daddy get destroyed, and then rape the women, kill the children. Okay, study a little history, ladies and germs, because it goes on and probably to this very second. I hate their piety. There it is. I do. It's disgusting to me. And I'm going to use an expletive to explain the contempt I have. And I won't judge it. I will just tell you, Mr. Christian, you better get real with this love thing you think you have while you walk past a brother in need. The guy's out there working on his car. Obviously, he's in need of help or something. Instead, they come over. Yeah. It's really, I mean, I've been saying this. I'm not trying to defend coarse language, but I do. I use it. I call it strong language, and it comes to my tongue because I have that in me. And I'll tell you, I don't even, I mean, I can. Let me tell you how to stop it. You throw away all the things that bother you, throw away all the standards and the love, really. And if you don't know how to throw it away, you just have to go to a church and sing. And it's absolute miano. You know what miano is? It's the contents of a chamber pot. Because all y'all stifle the things that are supposed to be expressed. You can't see evil. If you do, you don't know what to do with it. How about you say something? How about you use strong language against it? You don't think Yahweh's doing that? Okay, I stand here corrected. The prophets, I'm not going to say the Lord Jesus used language like that. He was so in control. Right. And can you say things definitively, sarcastically, because he did use sarcasm, which is interesting, and make your point? Do you have to use more aggressive language? What about the street thugs? It's vulgar, the vulgarity, which is the Vulgate, which is the Latin and the Koine Greek brought down to common language use for the common, uneducated, unsophisticated, uncivilized nobleman. Right? I get it. So should we just leave that alone? Around you, Mr. Pius, I won't use strong language because you're so easily offended. Easily offended is a real weakness. And I'll dare say it's very spiritual. And when you're spiritually weak, guess what comes in and rules or just plays around with your weak spirit in that little area? It actually will strengthen your weakness. And then your weakness becomes a strength and your piety becomes offensive to me and or to God, because it's the pious ones who put his son on a cross because Jesus tried to fix their theology. I mean, how do you want to see it? Gentlemen. See, I'm using a nice word, gentlemen. They're not gentlemen. Not to me. Mick Kittrick, people spam is calling me. Who are these people? I don't even want a phone anymore. I don't want an email. I don't want a phone. I don't want anything. I don't want neighbors. I just want sunshine. So anyway, this is it. No, it means I'm tired of the jabs. I'm not. Yeah, it's the details of life. We could discuss it. It's very important to understand, actually to teach and to understand. And I suspect everybody who was not making enough money, an apartment used to cost $700 a month. Now it's $2,500 a month. Okay, if you're it's the absolute evil of a government. And God will take issue with the government. And the Psalm 82 issue. Yep. Good little slaves. Well, the people who can't pull it off are in trouble, and it's what we call the details of life. They can't even pay a bill. And the people who are making enough money, well, they just get whine a little bit and say it sucks to be you. So this is really the phases or stages of judgment that comes on land, that your leadership is garbage. And it actually is not the group or body or ecclesia in Washington, the District of the Goddess Columbia. It might even be a god. Whatever it is, it's not a state. It's not constitutional. It is run and ruled by the banksters of the world. And their other HQ useful centers of operation are London, which is another city in a city. There's the city of London in London, like the city of New York in New York, like Washington, D.C. and Maryland and Washington, like the Vatican in Rome, the Vatican City. These are centers of power that rule the earth and message. If you can't swallow that and start to investigate, well, then go to work and complain while you have free time. So, what's a man to do? God will provide. And yeah, life's going to get a little what? I'm not going to be able to go roam about and spend money. Can't buy stuff. The only thing I spend my money on is consumptibles, gas for my car, and food for my body. I do spend money on supplements because I think that supplements the poor quality food, and I know I'm. So, whatever the case, one of the most important things money can't buy is warm weather. Now go outside and get some sun on your skin. Serious. So, which is really what I want to do. In fact, I'm going to do it today. The water's probably too cold, but you know how I feel about that. There's nothing like getting your feet on the ground and your body inside warm water. Actually, nothing like it. I don't feel great doing it. Like it's like, oh, that's fun. What an amazing feeling. But I do somehow feel good warming up in the sun. And if I went to water, like say the Dead Sea with tons of minerals in it, apparently you would feel that. It's very therapeutic. So, you know, Florida has some really good water sites. And I don't know, and I've looked and certainly read enough to realize it's probably one of the best places on the planet for water. Certainly the Caribbean waters of South Florida, and then the inner waterways, which are crystal blue waters. It's with Ponce de Leon looking for the fountain of youth. That was a water issue. So, anyway. Yeah, our waters. If that's the case, you should develop it. Dig a well. There's some very interesting things I see, and I can never necessarily find them. Probably all from China, where you could buy literally almost a prefab house that you could put together in like 2 days for like 15 to 20 grand, that kind of thing. It's hot. What part of AZ? What part? I know it. I like the high desert. Prescott. Is it near Sedona? Prescott? Oh, I get you. That's fine. That's not fine. Okay. What can you do with it? Oh, well, so what are you going to sell it? Hmm. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, yeah. The sad thing, it was deliberate. So if the powers that be are trying to move, like think about how the herd gets driven. It's economics. Long Island was one of the nicest places in the hemisphere. Okay, so they loaded it up, overburdened the taxes, loaded it up with third world garbage, and everybody's leaving. Exactly what they want. So, and if they don't like kill with some good vaccine programs, if they don't kill these third worlders, then they'll just send in ICE and drive them all home, or use them as slaves. I mean, servants. Well, that creates a covetousness, and then so they actually deliberately go after the poison. There's a lot of psychology behind it, and in the heavens you have legal issues. You'd have to. It'd be interesting to see how they get around it. The complexities are amazing. If you want to look at it, kind of need a whiteboard. But in the end, yeah, Nevada. Everywhere. Nevada used to be the place. Now it's not even that nice, Nevada. But it's and even Nevada has the high desert. The high desert is beautiful. It's Prescott and Sedona are beautiful, actually. But yeah, um, it's amazing to get to it. It's all low, flat, ugly desert. It's interesting. I drove it a number of times. Yep. So is Tucson. Too close to Mexico, which, should we talk about it? What is it? El Paso, and then going down into Texas, you got Juarez. Really nice place to visit. You could almost go on vacation. So I was kidding. Um, it- it's it's one of the worst places on the planet, certainly in this region, because of the. Well, let's see. Wait, is it because of the wonderful things? Yeah, drug cartels. Governments run drug cartels. Is this being recorded? Yeah, let's leave that alone. So anyway, uh, the the big pharma cartel, which is multi-billions, probably trillions, is definitely involved. Wait, all right, I'll stop. What are some of the other big things that well, I don't know. Who would, if you were, let's see, when they went into Iraq, what's the first thing that they did? Just basic for the heck of it. Because apparently when the shrub rang the bell, he got the generals to do it. They didn't want to do it, but they did it for whatever reasons. Once they did it, they beat up the fourth largest army in the world in about 2 weeks. And then the general said to the shrub, "It's all yours. I'm out. I'm not going to do the rest of it. I did my job as a commander. Goodbye." And the shrubs left hanging the bag with their agenda. Thank you, Shaney. And they sent in, was it Brennan? I can't remember. Who was in over his head? Who was that guy? Go ahead and study him. And the first thing he did, which is what you would do, is confiscate the seed bank and the food bank and the water systems and the electrical energy systems, which I think they destroyed, which put them back economically at least. Let's see, how long has it been? Oh, 20 years. But apparently Iraq is on their feet for a long time. We just don't know it. I don't know. I'd like to go take a trip and really figure it out. But who cares? So that's what you do when you subjugate a people. So who's in charge of your food and water and your communication and energy systems? Come on. You want to study big pharma and food and water and energy systems like the oil companies? Trillions. Yeah. So I guess that's easy to see, and you're never going to know the details. And who cares? Because look at how we live. The average human is okay, fine. Just as long as the internet doesn't go down, I got Netflix and phone calls and food and water. What else is life? Unless you climb up the ladder and get involved in working in those systems and paying attention to the actual structures and then the infrastructure and then the building of a civilization and the domestication of its people. I mean the subjugation. I mean the wait, what are they doing to the people? Oh, the freedom to thrive and live and love in peace. Put your mask on first. So whatever you think life is, and especially around here, there, you know it, you've said it, that there's people in control around here. And you call them Jews. I would say yes, they're definitely of that ilk. Is it the Hasidics? Do you know how dark that system is? I mean, I don't know what they're doing in terms of why they're doing certain things for the benevolence of all the people in this village. But it is run right. It is. Okay, so here's how it works, I think. I'm just going to throw it out at you. Here you are. You have drama from the bullies who are in charge, the HOA. I won't call them Raqqa. And you get to live a very simple life. Food, water, shelter, electric, and all the amenities have been brought to you. You can go jump in the water and no one's going to hurt and kill you, and there's no checkpoints. And the food seems to come tomorrow and the next day. You've been given enough understanding to realize what's food and what's not food. And so what do you do with the rest of the day and or life as we thrive in it? I saw Yahweh on your walls in a couple places. I don't know if what are you, Jewish? I mean, what are you doing with that? So you're going to take a piece of your life, maybe the whole entire life structured around those two pictures on the wall? And I'm going to call them pictures. You know, that's true artwork, isn't it? I don't, who's on the phone? Mike doesn't realize he's got Yod Hey Wah, and so do I. Artwork. That's it, brother. You're free to study. Fill up your mind with the treasures. That's what you take with you when you go home. Everything else and everybody else. Okay. Sorry, sadly. Bye now. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. No. Yeah. Unless you're around people like the name you just mentioned a little while ago, which is kind of really strange because we're both Christians. I mean, why do I not want to partake in that kind of effort? If I was invited to a church again, I don't really want any part of it. I want to, but I can't. I know what it is, and so is that God's providence on you? I mean, think about that. You got to that point before I met, and then you meet a guy like me, and you're like, yeah, well, that makes sense. Hello. And then so, you know, it's windy, so this is no beach.